The Royal Enfield Classic 350 has arrived, and wow, what a stunning looking motorcycle. It looks like something right back in time from the 1960s or something. Absolutely drop dead gorgeous. But the question is, why has it arrived? So watch this video to find out. I'm going to be doing a massive review on this bike very soon. But before I do that, I want to cover a few points in this video that I won't cover in the review, because I want the review to be very pure and just about this bike only. But I've got this Royal Enfield Classic 350 for a long-term review, so I'm going to do more than one review on this bike. The initial review will be coming in the next week or so, but I'm going to have it for such a long time that I'm going to do some other things with it, which will be very interesting to see. As I said, the sort of roads that I'd be riding mainly on in Spain, even here, are windy back roads, lots of hairpin bends, lots of narrow roads, and I need a bike that is going to be suitable for those sort of roads. Now, as I said, I'm a back road kind of rider. I don't like long journeys. I don't like riding on motorways. I don't like dual carriageways or freeways. I like the exploring sort of riding, and a bike like this would be perfect for that. I'm not worried about caning it and going really fast, so I don't need something ridiculously fast. I just want something that can burble along and I can enjoy the views, the countryside, wherever I'm going, stop and pat a horse, look at a lovely view, go and have a coffee, a meal, whatever, and just enjoy myself on a motorcycle with that freedom that only a motorcycle can give you. Another bike that I'm considering on my shortlist is the Triumph T100 or T120, and I've got a T120 coming in a few days' time to put it through the same paces as I am with this bike, with the same thought processes going on in my mind. I love the Bonnevilles. I said in a previous video, which I actually took off of YouTube, I'll tell you why in a minute, that the Speedmaster was on my list, but I've taken it off because it's not got enough ground clearance for the really difficult roads with lots of potholes and back roads and what have you. So as much as I love the Speedmaster, that's off the list. So it's between the Triumph T100 or T120, this and the Interceptor and the Kawasaki W800 at the moment. Now, I think this bike is absolutely gorgeous. If you look back at my review of this a year ago, just over a year ago, I fell in love with it. It was brilliant, and I did say at the time it's one of the best bikes I've ever ridden in my life, and I've been riding since I was 7 years of age, so that's, well, at least 10 years. And this bike is phenomenal, it really is. Now, if I were to buy this bike, I would remove this seat because it looks better with it off, so I'm going to be doing that in one of the videos. It's quite a simple process. There's a bolt there you undo, and you loosen the two bolts where the rear suspension is, and you can just pull the back seat assembly off, tighten it all up, put it back together, and Bob's your uncle. So that's easy to do, and it looks so much more beautiful without the rear seat. Well, of course, it's nice to have a seat because it's practical. I'd also want to put wider handlebars on it, sort of motocrossy type, sort of scramble handlebars, I would say, probably with a crossbar if it doesn't cover up the Speedo, but something wider, a little bit higher. But that would mean having to change the pipes and cables and things because they won't be long enough. So it's doable, of course, but that would be something I'd want to do. Other than that, I think the bike looks pretty perfect as it is. I love these proper mud guards made of metal. They cover the whole wheel. They stop you and the bike getting filthy. So that's a brilliant thing to have. Same on the back here. It's got this sort of framework here. I don't remember that on the one last year. I'll have to check the video, but if you know anything about that, why it's there, I suppose it's just to strengthen it. It doesn't look bad though, to be honest. And if you've got some luggage bags, it stops it going to the wheel. So it's got its purposes there. Quite useful, I would have thought. Now, I've been doing my research, of course, and the exhaust can be changed very easily. So what I do is take the whole exhaust off, and there is a replacement exhaust that is cat-free. So the cat's behind this cover here. You could do it in half an hour. So I'd replace that. I would put in the free-flowing air filter and the cover so more air gets in. And those two things would just let the bike breathe a little bit better. It doesn't make it particularly faster, but it lets it sort of be freer with less sort of snatchy throttle and jerkiness and what have you. And the current ECU that comes with the bike would cope with that perfectly fine, but you can get this plug-in thing, I forget what it's called now, which slightly richens up the fuel mixture so it runs a bit cooler and perhaps less spluttery at lower revs and stuff like that. So I mean, it's something I have to see. I would live with it first and see how it goes. So in my head I'm already sort of buying this bike, aren't I? I haven't fully decided yet, so I've got to establish that as I go on over the next few weeks with this bike. I've been looking at reviews on YouTube of the Kawasaki W800. It's a bike we've never been able to get to review, but I'm trying to establish the riding position. It's so hard because people don't really show it. But on this, I like the leg bend on it, because it seems with the Kawasaki W800 and a lot of bikes that your foot's more like that, where the pegs are back there, and I really don't like that at all. This has got quite a nice riding position, more like sitting in a chair, which I like. So that's a big tick for this bike for me. The Interceptor, again, the pegs are a little bit further back. Size-wise, this and the Interceptor are pretty much the same, so that's not an issue. Yes, of course, it's a lot smaller than the BMW R18, which is a mammoth motorcycle, and I love it for that. But as I said, for windy, tight bends, which I'm going to be encountering more often than not, it's not going to be the ideal bike for that. In my review of this, which I've planned for the next few days, I'm taking it to this amazing location. You won't believe the scenery. You've got to watch it. It's stunning. Which will be a true test of the bike in the sort of roads that I'll be riding in the future myself. So if you're in the same sort of situation, you want a bike for the back roads, and that same would apply for city commuting stuff, in and out of things. It's good for both of those things. So country lanes and back roads and beautiful scenery is what it's all about for me. Now, even though there's a vast price difference between these two bikes, and a huge difference between the torque they produce and the power and all that sort of thing, they are very similar in a lot of ways, in that they've got lots of chrome and they're classically designed and both very beautiful to look at. Now, either bike, wherever you stop, people will come and talk to you about them. And I did take this bike the other day to the North Wales coast, to the seaside towns, and I was going to do a video where I stood by the bike and people would come past and chat to me, because that's what happened when I did the cinematic ride on this bike that's gone down like a lead balloon, unfortunately, but it's a really good video. So make sure you just have a look at that. It's interesting to watch. But I went to Barmouth on it, and just person after person was talking to me about the bike. So I didn't film that. I wish I had. So I thought I'd go to the North Wales coast and do the same, but there was nowhere to park, so I couldn't park the bike anywhere I wanted to. There's one little tiny motorcycle parking bay, and I don't even know if you have to pay for that, but everywhere else it was pay and display. Millions of people, millions of cars. I just got fed up with it and left. So that was a rubbish video, so I didn't end up producing that one, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it is sometimes. So there's some really interesting videos coming, including me painting the back of one of my black leather jackets in a really nice design, which I've just worked out what I'm going to do now. So that's coming up soon as well. Like, subscribe, all that business, and we'll see you very soon.